Okay, welcome back. Here's your sheet 1. That's the answer sheets. Here's your form responses. Right now it's empty. I deleted the rows that I had already submitted. The form that you did, there's your My Spreadsheet form, the simple exit slip. You can choose a name, submit an answer. Things look great. We're on our way. All right, in your spreadsheet, what you need to do in the sheet 1, you're going to go to Tools, Script Editor. All right. You're going to get this menu to pop up, and you want a Google Apps script for a blank project. And it's going to make a My function for you. You are going to need to title it, so let's go ahead and call it My Project. Okay? And now you've got function My function, and we should be ready to go and write our script. Here's the first thing you're going to need. The function My function here is going to need to have a parameter called e. I'll show you where we'll use that in a little bit. But right now, as we write out the code here, let's make this a little bigger for everybody. Hopefully it'll all fit. And we need to create some variables. So in Google Apps Script as well as JavaScript, which is you have to use the keyword var when you're declaring variables. So we'll declare a variable called ss. And that's going to be equal, and we're going to set it and assign it the value that's going to come from our spreadsheet app.getActiveSpreadsheet. Now you can use the autocomplete to put that in or type that all yourself. And let's go ahead and create another variable. We need to create a variable for our form response sheet. All right, and that's going to be ss.getSheetByName. And what's the name? Form Responses 1. Now, you can pause it here and see what this is to get this all typed in. I'm just going to show you where that comes from. If you consider back here and you click on the tab on the bottom where it says Form Responses 1, it has to be spelled exactly like that tab at the bottom, Form Responses 1. All right, and then the next line we're going to create one for the answer sheet. Okay, so that is one for the answer sheet, which is getSheetByName sheet 1. Here's a couple of more variables we'll need in a moment. Let's call them cell and cell 2. Semicolons here end every statement. That's appropriate in JavaScript. Let's create a variable called start. Assign it a value 2, and a variable end is actually going to get from our answer sheet get last row. Now the reason we start at 2 and go to get last row, if you consider this My Spreadsheet again in the sheet 1, this is called the last row you see is 5, but it'll get the last row in case you happen to have more students here. We'll always start at 2 here because we have our header row at 1. I'm going to go back to my project. I just realized that this should have been capital S for sheet. Okay, and we are going to continue now by writing a loop. You can type this in. The blank line here is optional, but it does look good to help us separate some things just as we're viewing it. And the for loop will go, we're going to create a loop variable I that will start at start to, well, I is less than or equal to end, which is the last row, I++. That increases the value of I through our loop. I'm going to put a closing brace here. Those are the curly braces. And then inside our loop, you're actually going to assign the value to cell, and that's going to get from the answer sheet. It's actually going to get a range, and we're going to get the range from column B plus our I variable. All right, and that's going to get that range B plus I. So it's going to get B2, B3, B4, B2, B3, B4, B5. It's actually going to loop through that. That's how this works. It'll get all those values in turn, one at a time. Now what do we need to do? We need to check to see if this particular cell equals the name that's coming in from our form. So here's how we do that. We're going to check to see if the cell.getValue, and we're going to need to see if that equals. We need to use two equal signs. This is where we use our parameter e now. This is the e that is the values that is coming from the form. So if e.values brackets 1. Now, why do you think it's brackets 1? Let me put in my closing brace. That's a curly brace, closing brace. Well, why is it brackets 1? If you go back to the spreadsheet, form responses, this is column, the timestamp is bracket 0, last name brackets 1, the answer, the solving for x is brackets 2, 0, 1, 2, we choose values 1. If those are equal, cell 2 is going to get the value of answer sheet dot get range, and then this we're going to put it into C plus I. All right, so the C plus I from the answer sheet, that's going to be the value of cell 2. So cell 2 is going to get the range CI, which means C2, C3, C4 from the answer sheet, C2, C3, C4, and then if it's blank, we're going to assign it the value from the form that's being submitted. So how do you check to see if it's blank? Well, I'm glad you asked. Check to see if cell 2 dot is blank. Okay, and if it is blank, those are my curly braces, put in a closing one. If it's blank, go ahead and set cell 2, which is set value, to be e.values brackets 2, because that was their answer. So we're going to set that value, cell2.setValue, to be e.values 2, and then if we did, this was finding the particular name. If we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and break the loop so we don't have to loop through all the rest of the students. Clean this up some here, and I'll let you get that all typed in. All right, here comes the moment of truth. You've got all this code typed in. Let's hit save, and the red star is gone. Now our code is saved, and we need to get this script to run when our form is submitted. How do we do that? There's an icon here to get your current project's triggers. Right now we have no triggers. Click here to add one. We need to run my function, and the event would not be time driven but from the spreadsheet, and it would not be on open but on form submit. We're going to need to click save on here, so let me move this out of the way a little bit here to get to the save button. Okay, so click save, and it's going to ask you for the authorization. App needs authorization. Of course you authorize it. Continue. And request permission. You like the project to view and manage? Yes, you definitely need to accept that your script is going to run. Now, of course, we need to hit Control S again to save. The red star is gone. This should save our code, and when we go back to our form, and if we choose somebody here like Fonzarelli to perhaps get a correct answer of 2, let's submit that form, and it got submitted, and let's check, and Fonzarelli's in there as 2 automatically. Let's do it one more time, and back to our form. We'll go to back, and the Malf, suppose Malf put in 1, and they're going to submit it. Go to the spreadsheet, automatically Malf is in at 1, and everything here you can see submitting, everything is good to go. Well, I hope you enjoyed both these videos, and good luck with all of your programming.